Welcome back to Angela's Soapbox on Raging Elephants Radio. Okay, you guys, I have with me a badass cop who is also a Marine, who is also working with a new gun manufacturer. And I met him through another friend of mine, and I had to bring him on because with the Second Amendment being so under attack, I thought, what better way to explain it to the average everyday person than to bring on a law enforcement officer. So welcome Juan Martinez, formerly of HPD, now reserved with Galveston, and all around badass. Welcome to Angela's Soapbox.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me on.
You're so welcome. So I'm just going to give a little background because I'm getting the vapors, ladies and gentlemen. All right. He's a Marine veteran, 99 to 03. He was a primary marksman instructor, which means he could kill your ass. He's 20 years law enforcement and counting, 11 years undercover narcotics. So we're going to talk about some of those funny stories. And he's an advanced law enforcement instructor and a firearms instructor and a private security consultant. And now he's working for a brand new firearms manufacturer called SAR USA. So Juan, tell me about SAR USA, and then I want to hear some dirt.
Okay, yeah, SAR USA is actually a Turkish brand out of Turkey. The brand is actually Sarsamaz, and they've been around since 1880.
Oh, okay.
But they've been manufacturing like heavy machine guns and all that stuff, and just recently got into the small arms. So with their small arms being manufactured now, they brought over the handguns first to the U.S. only about 3 years ago. And of course, around 3 years ago is 2020, COVID, all that fun stuff. So they kind of took a little bit of a punch to the gut on that one. So this year, they're starting to make another big push into the U.S. market. And of course, Texas, being as a very big 2A state, they know if we get a good push in Texas that the other states will follow as well and really catch on.
Well, I love it. I love that, we have an overseas company that understands the importance of self-defense, the Second Amendment, and defending yourself against lunatics. And as a former undercover officer, and if you were still undercover, we'd have to put a bag over your head, I guess.
Right.
But tell a funny story. Do you have any funny meth stories or just some shenanigans these people do?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a bunch. Quick one being one time, you try to dress the part and everything else, and I was wearing these oversized basketball shorts and everything, and had to tuck my pistol in my pants. As we're talking about handguns, tuck my pistol in my pants and everything, and then as we're talking, moving around, I just slowly feel the pistol start to slide. So anyways, I made the deal and all that, but I walked away with my hand on my crotch, basically my pistol, so I could make sure it didn't fall out of my shorts.
And there were some ladies walking by going, "Damn, son, what's that in your pants?"
That's a very dangerous firearm.
Yeah. A very dangerous firearm. Okay, all kidding aside, you're a Marine, once a Marine, always a Marine. What's your take on how our military is being completely destroyed purposefully, I believe? What's your take on all this crap going on in the military, first of all?
It's really sad because being in the Marines really gave me the basis for the person I am today. Those 4 years there I did, and gave me a trade, and met a lot of good guys and everything else, discipline. It really set me up for the future that I have now. And me and some other Marine buddies, or just military buddies. I mean, well, you're friends with Chase, he's an Army veteran. And we just kind of see the changes through all the different branches. And it's kind of sad because we kind of, we have a level of respect and honor coming from those branches of service, and we kind of want them to maintain that standard,
Yeah, and today the new Joint Chiefs of Staff said that it's going to be his goal to make sure that white men are not. Let me read the quote directly, so all you race hustlers don't come after me. Basically, that he wants to make sure that white people or white men do not hold positions of power in the military anymore, and it's really remarkable. Here's what he said: next chairman of Joint Chiefs wants white male officers to be a minority. Now, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the military supposed to be the best that you can be, and whoever is the best will rise, regardless of ethnicity? Is that kind of what it used to be like?
That's absolutely correct. In the Marines, we all consider ourselves green. We're just different shades of green. Some are lighter shades of green than others. But we just saw a uniform, we saw a rank, and we didn't see anything else, race, gender, anything like that.
I know, it's so
And we're kind of
stupid.
open about joking about stuff like that too,
Yeah, like that you really, it really is a colorblind society, the military is. And it's, funny for an individualist like me to be so pro-military, but at the same time I feel like even though you're in a situation where you kind of all have to do the same thing, you're also working as yourself on your personal individual level, and you're making your best self. And for these psychopaths to continue to try and put race hustle and push this idea that getting rid of white people is going to solve all of our problems. It's so sad to me. It's so anathema to what Martin Luther King Jr. said and our founders believed. And it's very depressing.
No, it is. I mean, like I said, like you hit it right on the nail on the head right there. Is I'm trying to improve myself, but not necessarily just for myself, for the other guys and girls around me as well. We all depend on each other, so we all have to do our job correctly because other people are depending on us. And
Exactly.
again, race, gender, religious beliefs, none of that falls into place.
Yeah, exactly. And the crap they did with during COVID with the purge of the patriots, which I think the whole vaccine mandate, that's all it was to purge any individualistic thinking person or any patriotic person out of the military to make this woke military more better chance of happening. And I really do think they're making us sitting ducks. And to shift to 2A with that being said, because they're trying to make us, as I like to say, fat, lazy, woke,
Mhm.
dumb, confused, and compliant. And in order to do that, our culture's totally changing very rapidly. So they can come in, take our guns, and then all bets are off. Because if we lose our guns, that's it.
Right. So take away our guns, weaken our law enforcement, and who do we rely on to defend ourselves?
Right.
If they improve and strengthen our law enforcement, and then saying, "Hey, law enforcement's doing such a great job, there's really no need to have a gun," then maybe they have a leg to stand on. But they're attacking our law enforcement. Back when I got on, I mean, it was a prestigious job to have. I mean, it was sought out. People, I mean, it would take you 6 to 8 months to get hired onto a department because of how extensive the background was and everything else. And people were lining up to do this job. Now departments are offering tens of thousands of dollars just to get you to apply, as signing bonuses and everything else. So law enforcement's taking a punch to the gut. And now you want to tell me with a weakened law enforcement that doesn't have the manpower to run the calls for service. I mean, assault calls are taking 30 minutes for an officer to respond. Now you're telling me you're going to take my guns away. I can't protect myself. Then that's really an issue. That's really a problem with me.
Right. And not only that, law enforcement aren't allowed to even do their jobs. I mean, you saw what happened in New York City with the case of Daniel Penny. If the cops were able to actually do their jobs without the woke mob coming after them and demanding their heads on a platter, then maybe this wouldn't have even happened. Maybe Jordan Neely, who had been arrested 40 times, would be in jail where he belonged. And, I have to disagree with you because even if we had great law enforcement saying, oh, we don't need a gun, it takes, like you said, 30 minutes to get to a call. You need as a person,
Right.
we need to be able to defend ourselves. And I'm certainly not a gun nut or anything like that, but I've got a Glock that my dad gave to me, and I went through a background check, and it took a couple of weeks, and then I got the weapon handed over to me. But it's such a joke to say that there's no structures in place to stop bad people from getting weapons. In fact, we know that all these mass shooters or everything, they are targeting these gun-free zones, these schools, because they know there's not going to be anyone armed there.
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. Yep. And they're not getting the guns legally either. A lot of
Right.
times, they're stealing their guns from somewhere, taking them from their mom and dad or whatever they're doing. They're not getting these guns legally. And most crooks don't get their guns legally. So when you impose all these laws and things on the law abiding citizens, then it just makes it harder for us to defend ourselves. It makes it easier for the crooks to go and commit crimes and do what they're going to do.
Yeah. And you would put on our tinfoil hats here, and you have to start to think, what's the bigger picture here? Other than getting rid of our Constitution. I think that's the biggest picture, that they want to get rid of the Constitution so that they can impose whatever the hell they want to do. But when a person who doesn't really pay attention, like a normie, for example, who's just going about their life, and all of a sudden they're waking up and they're realizing like things are really bad here. Like, what do you think it's going to take for the average person to realize the reason they're coming after our guns, is because we are the only country in the world that has a constitution, and every country in the world is like, please hang on, America, because if this constitution goes, it is tyranny, full stop.
Right. No, I totally agree. And like you said, it is the first step, taking our guns away, and it's our constitutional right. I mean, the constitutional carry thing here in Texas, I mean, has any crimes gone up or anything like that because of that? No. It's still controlled. People still get their license to carry and everything else. So it's very structured. It's very real. It's very good. There's been a lot of citizens that actually defended themselves that were lawfully carrying. So when you take that right away from us, then how do we protect ourselves? And I'd like to believe, I know some people have said, I don't know how actually true it is, but the reason why our country hasn't been invaded is because we all carry weapons and we all have the right to carry weapons. So that kind of deters countries from coming in and, thinking that we're just going to be a rollover, be a pushover country to invade.
No, I think that's exactly why they haven't. And that's why they're trying to collapse our culture, make us fat, lazy, woke, confused, and compliant as fast as possible, making think we can choose our gender and that being fat and morbidly obese is normal, and all the garbage they're shoving down our throats. And it's an entire generation now that I think is going to be affected, and they think, okay, this is now, it's go time for these people, because this current generation that is being so brainwashed and propagandized, they think that's going to be the generation they're going to be able to get kick the Constitution out of this country. So we're in a very perilous time. And if people don't understand that all your other rights stem from the Second Amendment, your ability to speak stems from the Second Amendment. You have no other rights if you don't have the right to defend yourself. And our founders knew that.
Right. Yeah, totally agree.
Well, tell everyone how they can reach you. I know you're now in the sales for this great manufacturer. Tell them how they can reach you socially or for business purposes or whatever.
Well, again, like I said, I was undercover for 11 years. So social media, my face being out there, all that was very hidden. No, I do now. And it's very weird. Like, it's weird having my face out there and stuff. So I just started a public Instagram. It's at Juan. I'm sorry. It's at it's AKCT_1000. JUANTHOUSAND.
Say that again.
AKCT.
Say the whole thing again. I was talking about
AK. Okay, it's going to be Act 1000, which is AKCT_ and then just the name one and the word thousand together. And AKCT is a training company that me. Yeah. Well, it's funny because that's what my badge number was at Galveston.
Very cool.
It's 1000. So they called me 1000.
I love that.
But yeah, so AKCT is.
Yeah. What is AKCT?
AKCT is a training company that me and my. It's a training company that me and my partner put together. It stands for Adaptive Knowledge and Covert Techniques. We were both undercover for a long time in various roles. So we put some training together, started doing some civilian training, mainly on like concealed carry and surveillance, things like that. Concealed carry because, again, like the story I told you about how I carried in those basketball shorts and the pistol fell, it's like, hey, proper way to carry this gun and proper way to draw it, because you can carry a gun all day long, but if you can't covertly or properly shoot them and things like that. So that's why we kind of developed a training company. So we teach law enforcement and private security.
Man, you're gonna have to train me because I suck. I'm like, this thing's too big. It's a Glock. It's too big. I need a girl gun.
Yeah, well, maybe you pick up one of the guns I'm pushing. Maybe you like it a little bit better. I don't know.
There you go. We're going to talk. All right, everybody. You are listening to Angela's Soapbox on Raging Elephants Radio. We will be right back. Thank you, Juan.